Hello, welcome to another episode of Crypto Charts. I'm Fausto Botelho, broadcasting from Brazil, and today, late in the night, we're going to quickly take a look in the S&P and in Bitcoin, which I think is going, wait, you'll see. So, I'm showing you initially the chart of the S&P, just to say that I think it's very suspicious, the fact that the S&P broke the all-time high, the mother of all resistances, and then came back. The question is, where were the stops? And then it broke again and came back. But today it held it in the former resistance line that offered, which would say it's support, right? So I think tomorrow is going to be a very important day. If the market breaks today's low, I think it's coming to test this next support level here and this one very fast, because it will have produced the most important technical indication, which is a bull trap. Bull trap is as more important as more important is the resistance that it breaks and then re-enters. And we're talking, as I said, about the mother of all resistances. So if he produces a second bull trap now in that most important resistance, I think we're going to be having a very important bear indication. So keep an eye. The consequences, if that bull trap occurs, is that we're going to be seeing what I've been expecting for months already, I have to confess, but with good reason. I think we would have to then imagine that this upward trend would be corrected, and if market corrects Fibonacci, he could come as, just to reach the first Fibonacci level, he could come as low as some 40% down. So that would mean that the world would be 1/3 less rich, and if that happens, well, credit disappears, all the businesses stop. If you're selling a house, probably the buyer will rethink. So what's the advice? Well, I think if you're doing some business, well, basically it all resumes to become liquid. Liquidate all assets that are not actual assets. You want to know what's assets? It's that thing that when you stop working, it puts money in your pocket. And liabilities are those that take money out of your pocket, like a house on the beach. Eventually it may be an asset. If you rent that house, well, it is a asset now, but it can become a liability if you lose your tenant, right? So that's the idea, because when the markets, when the credit disappears, whoever has money is king, right? And being where it is, giving these such important indications that the bulls are exhausted. There are no stop orders above the mother of all resistance. That's very serious. That means that people is short, and they're gonna keep short, even though even if the market breaks the resistance, it seems that people is going to continue short, and eventually the bulls are gonna get exhausted, and it's all that bears want to just give them a nice tap and see the snowball roll down the hill. So I think if you have stocks, it would be worth for you to tighten your stops. That's basically it. Now let's move to Bitcoin, and let me show you why I think Bitcoin is going up. Well, I've shown this in the channel already. But I'm working with the possibility that Bitcoin starts its upward movement from this accumulation here at $5. Then it produces what I think it was wave 1. If you want, you can call it wave 3 and wave 5 here, and then we're starting a new upward impulsive wave. I prefer to call it wave 1, 2, 3, because you can call it any way, because first of all, we had a correction of 83, almost 84%. So that's good enough for a correction, right? But more than that, the important thing is that in this correction we had a impulsive wave, a corrective wave, and an impulsive wave, which makes a perfect ABC. So let's move to the daily chart, and which is not daily, hourly chart, but the daily chart. In the daily chart we see it very clearly, even if, because that's the first impulsive wave of the corrective wave of the long-term run, right? So I'm going to give a zoom in this first impulsive wave for you to notice that it had a 1, a 2, a second, and a third wave downward, impulsive waves on a downward movement, making waves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which then could be called as wave A. So a descending triangle is by definition a corrective wave. So impulsive wave, corrective wave, impulsive wave, ABC. Market broke the resistance trend line, and then it produced a head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're having now what I think it's very possible to be a correction, just a simple correction with an ABC. So let's take a look, and meaning that the market, even though because the market held here in the last stop, which is something that we empirically know that it does. Let's take a look at the hourly chart now, and let me tell you that I am seeing this accumulation that the market is doing as a flag upwards. If we go to the 15-minute, I think we could imagine that we're seeing a sort of an ascending triangle here. So I'm expecting this to be broken today or tomorrow and the market start going up. Where is it going? Well, I don't know, but asking the market, he answers that we should take a look in what he's been doing in the past. And if we're very slightly optimistic, then we could imagine that the market would repeat the last portion of wave 3, which is this blue segment here projected from the lows, will take us to $61, $62, $63,000. If by the other hand the market repeats wave 3, then we're heading to $340 or something $1,000, which is this other blue segment here, 325 or so, whatever. It would be a upward movement of 3,100% approximately. So I'm very bullish on Bitcoin, and I'm very suspicious about the way the S&P broke the resistance level, the all-time high. So keep your eyes open. See you next time. Ciao.